Yeah, it's very, like, it's easy, not medium.
Well, I haven't read through the problem yet, but I'm just like looking at it and
Yeah,
looking
that
at the
seems
overview.
pretty easy for a medium to me too.
You're given a zero-indexed integer array nums of even length consisting of an equal number of positive and negative integers. Okay. You should rearrange the elements of nums such that the modified array follows the given conditions. Every consecutive pair of integers has opposite signs. Okay. For all integers with the same sign, the order in which they were present in nums is preserved. Okay, so they have to stay in the same order too. The rearranged array begins with a positive integer. All right, so we're basically just swapping the values here, right? That's what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like we're doing some swapping here. Return the modified array after rearranging the elements to satisfy the aforementioned conditions. Okay. Easy enough. So if we are past an array that looks like this, it looks like the only ones we're swapping here is the -2 and the 1. And that's it. So we have to start the array with a positive number, and then it has to go positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, basically, right? Okay. There's a few different ways we could do this. There's always going to be an equal number of positives and negatives, too. So we could swap in place, or we could split the array into a positive and negative, and then combine it back together. Let's just see the constraints here. So numbers.length, so the actual array is going to be at least 2 because we need an even number, and it's going to be up to 200,000. Nums.length is even, of course. Nums.I is going to be anywhere from 1 to 100,000. And then nums consists of equal number of positive and negative integers. So if there's 10 negatives, there's going to be 10 positives, for example. All right, anyone have any questions on this one here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Can you give us a link to your Visual Studio? Share.
Yeah. I actually just posted it in the chat right up here.
Oh, it's right there.
Yep. Yeah. And just above this Visual Studio Code, I posted an easy problem and a medium problem. So I would definitely encourage people to look at one of these solutions solo and just try to bust it out independently. It's always great just to challenge yourself and try it out. For those who do want to work on a team, though, the link is right here. So pop on in. Looks like I only have Kevin and Virginia in here right now. So is there anyone who wants to work on a team and work with me, Kevin and Virginia, who's not in here yet? We could wait a couple minutes for you.
Join right now.
What was that?
I'll join right now. I already solved it earlier, but I'll just I'll join and follow along.
All right, cool.
I don't mind working with someone too.
All right, cool. Is there anyone who wants to work on a team but solve it in a different language like Python or Java? Because I could go ahead and create another voice channel for a Python or a Java or another team.
I have never coded in Python, and I would love to see someone code it in Python.
Does anybody want to do Python?
I solved it in Python if you want to see my solution. it's a little different than like solving it as we go.
Yeah, definitely. If anything, save the solution for when we're sharing solutions. But if you want to, there's no one else who wants to do Python?
Well, I only know JavaScript.
Okay. All right, no sweat. Cool, cool.
I mean, I'm fine with JavaScript. Or if someone wants, or if someone knows C or something. I just thought it'd be cool to see it. I thought it was cool to see it in another language.
Yep. Cool, cool. Do you want to? I guess we could wait till the end, because Angie, you're probably gonna share that solution anyways, right? With everybody.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, cool. Let's get to it then. So the initial thoughts that come to my mind is like, look, we have this array. We can use pointers to decide which ones to swap. That's one method. That would probably be a lot better memory wise than the second method I'm thinking of. The second method I'm just thinking of looping through, and if it's negative, stored in one array. If it's positive, stored in another array, and then just
That is fast, dirty, simple, and obvious.
yeah. So, anyone else have any other ideas that might be better?
We could use quiz to store the positive and negative. So when you have a quiz, first first in, first out. So inside this quiz, you could you store the positive and negative and solve the problem.
Say that one more time.
Hmm?
Say that one more time. I didn't. You broke up a little bit.
Okay. So this problem inspired me to use a quiz data structure because it's very suitable
You
for this
mean
problem.
a queue?
Q, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very suitable for this kind of problem because inside this queue we store the positive and negative, and we at every iteration we only shift one positive and one negative. So we store two queue for one for positive values and one for negative, and we shift at every iteration one time. In this case, we at the end of the for loop, we are sure like we have swapping between negative and positive.
Okay.
You kind of split the pointers will be pretty easy conceptually.
Maybe I don't. I haven't tried.
You make an array of pointers to positive numbers, an array of pointers to negative numbers, and just go bouncy, bouncy, bounce back and forth.
So
Yeah.
As long as you're pushing into the array from left to right, you're fine.
So you're saying have a negative pointer and a positive pointer, and just move right until you find the next one, essentially, and then store that value in the new array, right?
But I'm
Without,
confused.
Yeah.
without doing any swapping. Is that what you're saying, Kev?
Yeah, I wouldn't try to swap. That's high overhead and high complexity.
Yeah. What did you say, Lee?
I don't really get why. I mean, we're just doing the adjacent, right? So you just do a simple for loop. You have a pointer to I, and you have a pointer to I plus 1.
Yep.
And you iterate through the loop, and you just do if math.sign is equal to 1, and math.current value or negative 1, and if math.sign of the next value of I plus 1 is 1 or negative 1. Basically, if they're not equal to each other, if math.sign of current value and math.sign of the next value don't equal each other, then swap the two.
What
And
sign?
then just keep
What sign?
sign math. It's a math library that returns 1 for positive integers and -1 for negative.
Okay. So it's in the math object?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you're saying if it's positive,
You could really just say if they're not equal to each other, because we're only dealing with numbers. We're not dealing with
yeah,
letters.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you're going to get the NaN. So
It's gonna evaluate every number no matter what to either +1 or -1, right?
right. So you just say if they're not equal to each other, then swap the two values.
Yep.
But what if they are? I mean, in the first example, you'd get 3 and 1. They're both positive. What do you do with that?
You just move to the next one. Now your current value. So you make current value equal to I, and next value is equal to I plus 1. So now your index is 1. So your current value is 1, and your next value is -2.
What if you start with a positive number and the next number is a negative number?
Same thing. Now so your current value is 3, and your next value is 1. So now when you swap, and now when you go to the next one, now it's going to be 1 and -2. So now these two are not equal.
I'm saying a test case where the first number is 3, but the second number, let's just say it's -1.
It doesn't matter. You're just testing to see if math.sign of current value, which is num at I, and next value, which is num at I plus 1, do not equal each other.
So
if they don't, then you swap the two values.
So we would swap 3 with -1, you're saying?
Yes.
Well, the array has to start with a positive number.
Oh, then you just write an edge case and you say if I is equal to 0, then and
it's positive.
If I is equal to 0, yeah, right. So you just make an edge case for that. I didn't see that edge case.
Okay, cool. I like that one too. We have a couple different methods here, so let's write them all out. And who wants to work on what? So we have one with rearrange array pointers. We have one with Kev, yours was a pointers, but it wasn't swapping in place. It was
Well, I had a couple of different ideas.
yeah, same. Are you in here, Lee?
I am, but I don't. I'm in as anonymous. Do I have to sign in order to be able to edit?
No, you're in here as guest user. You should be able to. No, you can edit. Go ahead, type along.
No, it says I'm in read only.
Oh, you're a guest, right?
I'm not sure what is going on. Like, someone is cutting out.
Can you write now?
It's probably me. I use the push to talk.
There you go. You good?
Yeah, I'm good now.
All right. So if you want to take the rearrange array, this one right here, and implement that method, Kevin's implementing one. Oh, okay, you're implementing. Okay.
I cannot type today.
Cool.
Even worse than normal.
Oh, good. You just don't need this here. You're such a C# developer.
I am.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of a different way to do it just for fun.
I don't understand the second condition.
The rearrange array too?
Yeah, the second condition, I don't understand it properly. Could you?
This solution here, you're saying?
No. The problem. the second condition for the problem, I don't understand when it says that for all integers with the same sign, the order in which they were presented in nums is preserved. What does that mean? The second condition.
For all integers with the same sign, the order in which they are present in nums is preserved. Okay, so that means if the -2 comes before the -5 and it comes before the -4, then it means it has to stay before those two. And that means the -5 in the array that it's input comes after the 2 and before the 4, so it has to stay after the 2 and before the 4.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Yep. Let me see. I'm gonna just switch it up. Playing around.
Oh, here we go.
That's too inefficient. You'll just do push.
Had to look it up.
Let's see. There you go. Okay, so if I equals 0 and math sign current value equals -1, then you're swapping. If math sign current value is not equal math sign.
Well,
Okay, cool.
let's see.
I think that should be everything. I don't think I'm missing anything.
You're number 2, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's missing that there. Hold on. There you go. Cool. And then what are you returning?
You don't really have to return anything.
Why not?
Because you're directly mutating the nums. I mean, I guess you could return nums.
Yeah, because you would well, they're looking they're looking for output, so you will have to return nums.
Oh. Push method.
Let's see what you got here, Kev. If math sign nums equals 1, positive dot nums.
Something's not right here.
I got a question for.
Sometimes this formatter does weird. I guess it's the formatter.
Positives is spelled wrong in the output dot push in the second loop.
Yep, I see that now.
I got a question for rearrange array 2 on line 16.
Sure.
So you say math.sign curveball equals to -1. Wouldn't be easier just to check if it's less than 0?
You could. I guess you could do that. You could do that too. Yeah. Either
It
way.
will be a function then. I don't know what the complexity is of that. So you will be just adding more complexity.
You're right. I mean, I guess yeah.
Mine will probably be bad on memory.
I think you're gonna need to put the if statements inside of your for loop too, right?
Yeah, that's true too.
Forgot to close it. Whoopsie.
There you go. Cool, cool. How you looking, Kev?
I think I'm done unless there's. I can have an incredible blind spot for my own code sometimes.
So positives, length, output, push, positives.
What's really funny is this is incredibly similar to the very famous Google problem on how you reverse a binary tree.
How so?
Because it's
We've
literally done
noticed
the
that.
exact.
Yeah, we've noticed that in LeetCode before. Slight variations on extremely well-known problems.
It's exactly the same logic. You basically take in the reversing the binary tree. You take your left and your right, and you just swap them.
Gotcha. You got a high-pitched sound in your background, just a heads up.
How come everybody's going camera today? It's funny.
Right, I like it.
You know, I
Okay.
don't want to see my ugly mug.
Let's see. Yes, we do, Kev. You got a bunch of World of Warcraft posters in the background, don't you?
No, I've never been one for putting things on the wall.
Gotcha. How's yours coming along, Omar?
You know, it's funny. I don't have any World of Warcraft stuff at all. It's just a game I play.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Oh, hi guys. I
Hey.
didn't want to interrupt, but it took me like forever to. But I don't want to. I don't know to let it for the end. But yeah, my name is Hector. So it took me forever to just install the audio and the video on Discord. It's the first time I'm using really using Discord, so I'm sorry for that.
Oh, good. Welcome.
Yeah, it happens. It takes a while to get used to. Well, first get used to just using camera and microphone, but it also takes a while getting used to Discord.
I know, right? I didn't even know that you can have like a live IDE and on Discord, so it's really cool.
Yes, it is.
What's funny is I've actually never used math.sign before, but I was looking because I was like, I didn't want to write a complicated if-else statement with the less than 0.
Yeah, most languages I've seen have something like a math.sign.
You want to test these out?
So my solution is ready.
I got a. No, never mind.
try out a couple of these. Let's see what we got here. Let's try rearrange 2. That's Lee, right?
Yeah. But it's not actually named Rearrange 2. You may want to change the name to...
This one's yours, right?
Am I completely, like, just frozen now? I can't see,
What do you mean? Or rearrange 22. That works too.
It just says Rearrange 2 to me. There's already a 2 there?
There's a 22 now. Let me test this out and see what we got. It's hanging, so I think your loop is, yeah, I think your loop is hanging. Let's see, rearrange array 2. Rearrange array 2. Everything looks good. Yeah, it's hanging for some reason.
Maybe maybe I need to write an edge case that if I hit the last item in the loop to break it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like 21 breaks the code when you are at the edge of the array.
Yeah, fatal JavaScript invalid size error.
Yeah, that last value plus 1 break.
Let's test yours out, Kev.
I can't even see Kevin's.
It's just beneath yours.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it's so weird. I can't. There must be some sort of weird. I don't know.
You might want to close out your VS Code and try the link again.
I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
and if you can, if you have a GitHub, sign in with VS Code. You're really signing into your GitHub.
You're not getting all the digits, Kev. On the first one, you're good. I mean, on the second problem, you're good, but on the first problem, you're just getting 1 and 3, so you're missing 4 numbers. Let's see.
Do you guys see my break statement in there now?
Yes, line 12.
Is my
equals
if working weird because of sign?
Well, can't you always just go to nums.length minus 1 instead?
I thought that's what I got. I'm trying to open it up again to see what the idea. I was just trying to set I equal to nums.length minus if nums.length. If I equals nums.length minus 1, then break. That's basically that was supposed to be the logic, but I don't know why I'm having a weird lag or whatever's going on.
Nah, all good.
Okay. Hey, what?
So maths.
Oh man.
What?
It weirds me out when somebody's scrolling the thing and it's not me.
That was me, my bad. It shouldn't just be if math sign nums I. Oh, you have the greater than or equal to inside of the parentheses. You want to have that outside. You want to just have nums I inside of the sign parentheses.
Right.
I don't know what I can't even log in now. It's not even letting me in.
That's strange.
This is totally strange. I didn't even know VS Code had a live share.
Do you you have it installed in
need
your
the
Visual Studio
extension
Code?
too, yeah.
I have VS Code, yes.
There you go, Kev. Your solution is working. Do you have live share installed in your Visual Studio Code?
Probably not.
If you have it installed in your Visual Studio Code, you won't have to pull it up in the browser. There's actually an option where you could open it up in your Visual Studio Code editor, And when you open it up in your Visual Studio Code editor, it's less buggy than when you open it up in the browser. So anytime I use it in the browser, I always have issues every single time. So
Yeah.
it's probably not you. It's probably just the fact that you would have to go into Visual Studio Code and install Live Share separately in the extensions and go from there.
I got a question for rearrange 3. How are you checking that the first element is positive?
He's not.
I'm not. I just keep them in order, so I don't really care.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like this was an easy one. I did it. I was doing an easy one earlier that was way harder than this.
It'd be almost as simple to make an array of pointers, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about minutia.
Whose is this is Omar, right?
Yeah.
Let's test this one out.
So, but
You kind of did the same thing Kevin did, right?
but I use only one for loop, and my space complexity is O of 1. But for given solution, space complexity O of n. But I forget to pass the array to the function.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
could be a
I
problem.
passed it. So you have your Q1, Q2, and then the final result. So for each, if it's greater than 0, then you push it to Q1. If it's less than 0, you push it to Q2. And then if Q0, Q1 0, and Q2 0, if
So
they're both true.
yeah, so you want at each iteration of pushing, you want to both queues have first element. So because it's that's how the problem work. Like if you think about it, the positive and negative element waiting in a queues to be pushing into result. Because
Is this
uh,
a bitwise operator though?
mm, mm, I would describe it using the queues when it is used in the problem.
All
So
right.
it's not well, it's just implementing of the queues data structure.
And
Because
the second one has 2 T's at the end.
yeah.
There you go. All right, let's
I'm
test it.
very
I
surprised
coded it on
that the editor didn't call that out. That's weird.
Let's test it out.
I coded it on the mobile, but I forget to pass the array
Oh
to the function. Yeah,
Yeah.
coded it. I opened live share on mobile and I coded it on mobile.
Nah, you're turning all the negatives positive.
It's not working.
No, you're turning all of them positive.
Mm-hmm. I have to check. It's I have solved it earlier this day, but maybe I
The
forget
unchef
something.
must be doing that somehow.
Yeah, and they're not in the proper order either. They're out of order. Because
Good.
the 3 has to come before the 1, but the 3 is like midway through the array. So what are you trying to do with this and? That's what I was trying to understand. Are you trying to see if this is true and this is true?
So some time in the code, one queues have first element and the other queue is empty. So because you need to swap between positive and negative, you must push one positive and one negative. If the
Yes.
queue empty, you cannot swap between them.
The Q1 is your positive array, and the Q2
So
is your negative array.
exactly, if you call unshift on empty array, it will pass undefined to the result.
I don't think you need to worry about that, right? because it's guaranteed to be even, and then it's also guaranteed to have an equal number of positive and negative numbers, right? So if you take both of those things together, you're pretty much guaranteed to like never have a case where positive has something in it but negative doesn't.
Well, it happened to me when I test it. It happened like three on first iteration. It will push positive element to the positive queue. Second iteration, it could also push positive element because first two elements are positive. So if you don't make sure, it will unshift the positive one, and the negative one will be empty. So if you have the first two element positive, that would happen.
There's some like background noise. I'm not sure. It's like
Yeah, I'm a little
So
confused here too because
I
you're pushing the same element to, well, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, you're only
you push
running
it when.
this.
So all like all my optimization is about space complexity. I don't want to store unnecessarily data.
I think
So
you might
that
have to, right? Because it looks like I think your solution would work if you like abstracted the second part, the result dot push and the queue dot unshift, right, into a separate for loop. Like if you separate out like your positive and your negatives into two separate lists, and then like after that you come back and you like process those two separated queues, I think it works.
Like this one right here,
uh,
Chachi, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I
Very similar
I
to that
have
one.
I have a valid solution without needing for the second for loop. Maybe
I
I
see the
will pass.
concept. I just don't think the JavaScript is working.
So I will pass the result in the chat when I have access to my laptop.
But the problem is when you could get like 10 or 12 positive numbers in a row in a big set.
So
Yeah, definitely share the result because I'm not convinced that that works. I'm confused on how it would work.
I'm wondering why
okay.
you're using the bitwise operator though. That's
I,
that's what I'm
I,
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
log into my LeetCode. I log into my LeetCode
Because
profile.
I think
Mhm.
this if right here is gonna return 1 if this is true, and if this is true, it'll return 1. But if this is true and this is false, it's gonna return false or 0. And if this is false and this is false, it's gonna return 0. So you're checking to see if these are truthy. Help me understand that real quick. Because
Okay, I will bet.
if you look here, we have this is the bitwise operator.
Well, I don't know what is the bitwise operator is.
It's just returning 1 if both are true, and it's returning 0 in any other case, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
So if Q10 was an actual value and Q20 was an actual value, then the return would be 1, and then it would execute both of these, I believe.
uh I
But definitely, I'd say post your other solution in
oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
chat so we can check that
My
out.
solution. I passed the solution. I was making wrong. It is shift instead of unshift. So I passed the solution in the lobby chat.
Okay, cool. And then Lee, did you fix your solution too?
I wasn't hearing exactly what was being messed up on mine.
It looks like 3, 2, you're outputting. It looks like you're outputting. What's inputting here? Yeah, yeah, you're swapping. Your swapping is just happening correctly, basically. Because it should be 3, -2, 1, -5, 2, -4. So we're not swapping. It looks like you got the first swap correct, but everything after the first swap is,
Too many swaps.
yeah. So let's see. Current value is the current position. Next value is the next one. If I equals nums.length, then I think this line right here, the if I equals nums.length minus 1 break, you could just do right in here.
Yeah.
And yeah, while I is less than
Yeah.
nums.length, it should be good. And then
I
if I
think too. I think the problem is that I make this edge case for the first one, and then I need to basically do like an else if on 16 or something like that, or like because if I'm
Right. You only
swapping,
want
yeah,
one or the other to happen.
right, exactly, yeah. I think that's what I need to do there.
nums current value is less than 0. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Then num0 equals next val. Nums1 equals current val. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, this
Why
one
does
looks
it
good.
keep adding a third? Why does it keep adding a third ampersand onto my?
That's just, it's buggy if you're doing it in the browser.
I keep trying to open it in VS Code and it won't let me.
Yeah, you'd have to open VS Code separately and then install it separately. I'd install it first, yeah. If you just open Visual Studio Code separately and then you go to extensions and you type in live share, it's the first one. And then you should be good
Yeah,
to go.
I did. I did. I tried to
And
connect. It won't let me.
well, if you've installed the extension, just go ahead and close out your VS Code all the way, because you might be stuck on another session or something.
Greater than 0.
And then follow the link. And then that first step of the link should ask you if you want to open it in VS Code.
Why do we need if I is greater than 0? Just because it'll execute this for this edge case otherwise. Gotcha.
Okay. Sorry, can someone
correct.
repeat what's the edge case there? I don't think I got the edge case.
The only edge case was if the array started with a negative number. That's what this is.
I see.
Can you test if my function now work?
Yeah. Let's see.
I was thinking too, like you could just as easily put the shift in the rearranged 3 as well when he pushes it the output to get the same basically.
So
You're missing two numbers at the end, Omar.
okay. No.
So was it working on mine now, or is mine not working at all? The number
I
2.
think yours looks good. Let's test this out. No, it's not actually.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, let's see.
It's like it works, it doesn't work, and then it works.
صورة نرجع.
Math sign current value on the first iteration is going to be positive. So it's going to skip down. math sign current value on the second iteration is going to be negative, or it's going to be 1 versus -2. They're not going to be equal to each other because math sign is going to evaluate down to 1. Math sign next value is going to evaluate down to -1. And I is greater than 0, so nums I should equal next value. Nums I plus 1. Nums I plus 1 should equal current value. Yeah, so you're swapping. Let's see. I've actually never used math sign before either. Let's see.
How badly is it failing? Where is it screwing up?
Looks like your output is this right here. I'll go ahead and post it just underneath here. That's your output.
Maybe print out the array at each loop to see where it's swapping and where it's not.
I don't see what is. Oh wait, the 1 and the -4 should have swapped. It should be 3, -2, -5. I can't. I guess whenever I scroll it screws up yours too.
No, you're good. That's strange.
Yeah, so it would be like 3, -2, -5, and then I can't see what the next ones are.
Let's see. If I equals
it would be
0,
3, -2. It would be 3, -5, 1, -4, 2. Yeah, that is what it is. That's what it should be.
this right here?
Yeah.
No, it should be positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative.
Why?
Because it has to alternate. See? Every consecutive pair of integers has opposite signs.
Oh, I completely misread this then. I thought we were swapping if the left I basically thought that if the two values were not, like, if one was positive and one was negative, then you swap
Um,
Yeah, I didn't know it was supposed to be alternating positive and negative. I thought you're supposed to swap them if the two values, like, if one value is negative and one value is positive, then you swap them, else you don't.
yeah, I got what you're saying.
And yeah, that was me just misunderstanding the problem.
It's all good. Let's go ahead and submit this one that we know is working. And then if anyone wants to share the easy one.
I have a one-liner for that one.
All right, cool. Yeah, that one was Kev, yours was pretty good runtime wise. Nice.
Yeah, I figured it'd be bad on memory, but okay on speed.
Yeah, that was good. Let's see. Do you want to share your screen and show what you have for the easy one, or I'll pull mine up too.
I put it right at the bottom on line 64.
What was the problem? Truncate sentence?
Yes. yes.
Oops.
I can share my screen too. I just.
Cool. Yeah, if you want. Some people
How
post,
do
some
I-
people share. And then Angie, I think you said you wanted to share yours
I,
too, right?
I have to go, guys. Thank you
Yeah,
so
I
much
can
for today.
share my Python.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Oh, hey guys, before we jump to the next problem, I just have a little question. How do you get the link for that share? What is it? I already installed the plugin in
The
Visual
link
Studio Code.
the link
Mhm.
is right in the chat. So if you look just right here.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they'll always start with that prod.live share.
Yep. Rearrange. Okay, I'm closing this
You
code
guys.
anyway
Maybe
right
it's,
now.
it's another dumb question, but there's too many chats and I'm so new for in the Discord. So I'm trying to go back. It's like really long. So maybe I'm.
Are you looking at my screen? Look at my screen real quick.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, sorry. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
so
click
the
there.
live event
See
chat.
how I'm pointing in the lobby right here?
Yes.
Just above that, we have APIs, then we have chat. Just click on the chat, and it's right in there.
Okay. Chat.
Yeah, you may have
Just-
to
Oh,
scroll up a
there
little
it is.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's a completely different.
I was
chat.
wondering too. I was like, man, if I'm sharing my screen, like, am I blocking everyone? But no, this is kind of cool. Like, you can only see it in the context of like if you click my thing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. I love Discord. It's great.
I
Cool.
think
Thank you so
Zoom
much.
has simultaneous screen share now too.
Yeah, I haven't used Zoom in so long.
It has improved over time, but it's still Zoom.
Let's see. So return s.split .slice 0k join and then a space. Yep, that's what I did on the second solution. That seemed like the go-to for sure, and that was the best one time complexity wise as far as the solutions that I looked through. After I solve it, I always look through the solutions to see what's the best time wise and memory wise, and this was the best. Angie, did yours look something like this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool, cool.
I actually tried to augment the length of the string directly to k or the array, but it didn't like that. Apparently, you can do that. I know you can set the dot length property. Like,
What do you mean?
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can do that. Yep. And then that would just cut off the end of the array. Yep.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that one. Because then you're avoiding the slice method altogether. You're just cutting off the end of the array. Yeah, I like that one. Nice. I'll show you the one I did first.
yeah, see, but it doesn't like it. There's something wrong with it.
Array dot. No, that's something in the join method there. Click on runtime error at the bottom. Array join is not a function.
Yeah, don't you have to
Oh,
do like the string and then dot join and then the array? I think it might be the other way around.
well, no, you have to put a parentheses after split.
Split
Oh
is
yeah,
method.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should work.
There we go.
No, output is no. Yeah, what did you say, Tenchi?
No, well,
Oh, you have split
yeah,
put quotation and put a space in between the split method. Yeah, just like that.
Good.
Huh. Output and then join, take the quotation.
Oh yeah, yeah,
No, that should be good.
because you want to join it back to a string, right?
yeah.
So I think it's on line 9. I think the join function in JavaScript is not like that. I think it's the space character dot join and then the array. So you would swap where you have array and then replace that with a space.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, so it would just look like the empty space character, like just 2 quotation marks.
Yeah, get rid of the ARR entirely. Quotation, put a space, and then dot join.
And then you would type and then you would join the array with that token. But I
That's
don't really use
interesting.
JavaScript, so I'm not sure if that's right or not.
No, I mean I literally just wrote the join. Yeah, no, it's the other way around.
Yeah,
I literally just.
I think it's the other way.
yeah, it is.
Maybe the returned value is the string. It doesn't change the array variable.
Yeah, because that works right there. That's what I had.
Oh well, I don't know.
But no, that should work. That should work for sure. It was probably just something small. Yeah, I had that for my second one, just return s dot split. The first one I did was, am I still sharing? Yeah. The first one I just tried to make as readable as possible, and I was like, let me just. I thought this was going to be more efficient, but LeetCode was saying it wasn't more efficient, so I don't know. I felt like when you're running split, oh yeah, see, this worked. So this is what you just had, Lee. So I stored we got s dot split, stored that in s, and then s dot length equals k, and then just return s dot join, and this worked. But my first one I was just trying to make it as readable as possible, really. So I created a truncated string array, and then I just iterated through the string, focusing on the current character, while current character was less than length. But it was possible that I could break out of this entirely. So the first thing I did was check if the current character is a space. If it was, I decremented k. And then I checked if k equals 0, because I knew if k equals 0, then I had already I already have the truncated string I need, so I would break out of the for loop at that point. Assuming you had like 10 words, but k only equaled 3, I would break out right there on the 4th space. And then I just added each character to the, or concatenated each character to the truncated string if neither of these conditions were met. And then I just returned the truncated string at the end. This one I was just trying to build for pure readability. I honestly thought it would be more efficient, but it turned out, well, at least LeetCode said it wasn't as efficient. But
I actually just thought of an interesting O-of-N solution that you could use. You could iterate through the string and then put a counter every time you hit a space. So every time you hit a space, you put a counter, and when the counter equals k, then you slice at that index.
yeah, that's something I was thinking about too. Actually, I was gonna build a optimized split method, because you look here, split is gonna split the s at every single space. But I was like, you could build a method where called like split optimized or something, and pass in the string and k, and then only return an array with k number of spaces instead of returning an array with like all of the spaces. But I was like, let me just do this instead.
Can you guys hear me?
What was that?
No.
I was okay. You guys can't hear me. Okay, so the split method does take an amount of times to split. So you could put k as your second value to dot split.
It already
And
has
you
an
can
optimized version,
yeah
you're saying?
yeah.
Okay, good thing I didn't do that then.
Oh, my apologies.
No, I was jotting down like different different ways to look at the problem and different ways to solve the problem. That's one I didn't end up going with, but I was thinking about
Yeah.
it.
So you're saying right now in my solution where I did split and I put space and then I did comma k, that actually sets the endpoint?
Yes, that is the amount of times to split, or amount of splitted strings to pass back to you. So if you put
Yeah,
3, it's
how
going to
many
give you
things to
back
return?
up to 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
did not know. I did not know you could pass in options into split. That's actually kind of cool. I just did it now and it worked.
If
It
it's
didn't
anything,
decrease.
if it's anything like how Python does it, it is a positional only variable, so you can't like name it, but it'll be the first one is the split character or split string, and then the second argument to it would be the amount of times.
It did manage
Gotcha.
to decrease my runtime by 5 milliseconds.
Yeah, it's one less function call technically.
Nice. Cool. So we
I
had
got a,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anybody or anything.
I
all
would like,
good.
I would
No,
like,
this is an open discussion. Jump in
I
anytime.
would like to say something. So I don't know if in a whiteboard job interview, will they, I don't know if they will accept the split function as the answer, or if they actually want to see you writing up the split function by yourself, or
They would
having,
want
or
to see
coming
the
up with an idea.
algorithm.
Yeah, I stay
yeah.
away from built-in methods for that reason.
They're
Yeah.
different interviews will be different. It's not like they're all the same.
Yeah, but like using the built-in function, it only proves that you know the language, but
True.
they probably want to see you just coding part of the algorithm.
Well, if they want to see your thought process, they'd give you a harder problem than this.
Yeah, some company. I mean, if you think about it, you're going to use what's available to you in the language unless they state otherwise. Technically, I would assume.
Yeah, I think it's like 50-50. Like you can use
Yeah.
built-in functions as long as like, I mean, as long as it's like the built-in function isn't literally solving the core of the problem, which you'll probably know, right? Whether or not it's doing that, then you're okay to use the built-in function.
Yeah.
Isn't it doing it on this case when you guys are using the split function? Isn't just solving 80% of the problem?
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it that way. I think it'll really depend on the job. I mean, that's why I like staying away from the built-in methods as much as I can, especially on my first attempt at this solution. That's why I did it like this here. But the second one, you could see I used all the built-in methods. So it's kind of like, it can't hurt knowing
That's
both
kind of why they're
ways.
there.
Yeah, it can't hurt knowing both ways. Like that's if you're in an interview and you're like, okay, this is the way I'm gonna do it without built-in methods. That's great. You solve the problem. So that's like a plus right there for sure. You know how to solve the problem. But if after solving the problem, you're like, well, I could solve it in a much more readable and succinct way with built-in methods like this, and you show that you know how to solve the problem in another way, then obviously that looks better. You know how to solve a problem in multiple different ways. At least if I was doing the interviewing.
I 100% agree with you. I just think that forcing you to program, if you're in a JavaScript interview, forcing you to do it, like forcing you to answer this question in exact, like this, is like asking a JavaScript developer to program like a C developer.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
For a reason. They're built in for a reason. It is part of the language. I think
I
that's
am a
technically.
developer, so no jokes about it.
I feel like this what I just wrote would basically solve your issue with using split too. I mean, it's just a simple iterative loop with a counter.
Yeah, and
You
even
could,
though I say I'm a C# developer, I'm really a .NET developer.
So quick question, Lee. With that counter, could you make that an array? Because an array.length, or I don't know how it is in JavaScript, but it should finding the length of an array should be an O1 function technically. It doesn't have to iterate over it. It should automatically know how many are in how many like how long the array is.
Yes, custom objects like arrays and stuff like that do have a length property. Well,
And is it O of 1?
It is O of 1. It is O of 1. It depends on the object. So like object, a regular JSON object in JavaScript does not have a size property, but custom constructor objects do. So map, array, I forget the other one, set. They all have custom size properties, but they also.
Right. If the thing is iterable but not indexed, then it won't be O of 1.
Right.
Correct. Yes. Especially there are such things as, because I mean my language of choice is Python. It has generators. I'm assuming where so a generator would be an iterable, right? But it's not. You don't know what's next in that iterable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told conflicting information about arrays in JavaScript. My teachers told me that if you push onto an array in JavaScript, similar to the way you do it in C, right? Like it basically what it does is it actually makes a shallow copy of that array and pushes the reference of the old array onto the new one, which increases your time complexity. But someone told me the other day that does not happen in JavaScript because arrays are dynamic. And to be honest, I don't know which one to believe.
I think
it might have been true in the past and not in the future. So.
I think both are true. Is it holds a flexible? It holds, as your array starts to grow, it's like, oh, I might expect more, so it's going to have like a C array in the background that's larger.
That's how it works in C apparently. So in C apparently it holds it as a squared function of the right, starting at like 2 or something like that, or.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not going to call it every time, but once it's hit its upper bound in size, it's going to create another array in the back. It's going to duplicate it, create another array in the background that's twice the size again.
And I did see an example of merge sort that ran significantly faster by using an array of a set length versus using a blank array. So I am apt to believe that is how JavaScript works under the hood. But I don't know, because like I've been coding for 3 months, so
I'd have to look at it to answer that question exactly.
I have no idea, but the solution I wrote, just like, hey, let's make this string, let's split it into like an array, and then just pop a bunch of stuff off the end until it's done and rejoin it. It took me forever to write because it takes me time. The machine was like, oh, that's fast as hell. So I think like popping is pretty quick because it's just like, let's pop, input length, like array length minus k, amount of pops, and just iterate through and pop. So the popping bit is fast with the array. It had no problem.
Yeah.
So if your array length is 4 and you want 3 of it, you're going to do 1 pop versus 3 additions, I guess, maybe is what you're getting at.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I gotta go, guys. But thank you for your time and nice to meet you, all of you.
Yeah, thanks for popping in, Hector. Have a good night.
Same here.
You too.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
everybody.
You have a good night, Hector.
Cool, cool. Unless someone else has a solution that they want to share, we will pop off. We're not exactly doing team programming tonight. We're more planning for the future.